Hello and welcome back to our Heaven and Earth Advanced Longevity Treatment with Herbs Super Tutorial Series. The reason it's a Super Tutorial Series is because, well, even this slideshow on foundational Chinese medicine knowledge is actually going to be pretty long. So we want you to take your time and have a nice cup of tea or coffee, relax, and make sure that you absorb everything that we're going over here. And if you have any questions, to get a hold of us. And then we'll talk about some other goodies that come along with working with us and getting to know us. This is our Chinese Medicine Foundational Introduction series. And what I mean by series, a series of slides that we're going to be going over. It's presented by myself, David Ackrish, co-founder of Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center. You can get a hold of me or my wife Tia at ChineseHerbsForYou.com. Or please email us, star@ChineseHerbsForYou.com, and our toll-free number, 1-888-649-2182, with any questions on formulas, questions about Chinese herbal medicine, strategies, tactics, and everything that goes along with it. It's pretty in-depth. Most people know a little bit to be dangerous maybe. They don't know anything at all about it, but they're looking for answers, results. And we've been doing this for 20 years as a business, but combined we have over 70 years of background and then also our own family background into Chinese herbal medicine. So use this as a resource, get a hold of us, don't be shy, ask questions, come and get us. And the next frame we'll be talking about something that we're actually offering that you may be really looking forward to. Here's a picture of myself and my beautiful wife Tia and our sweet little dog Leia, all founders of ChineseHerbsForYou.com and our business name, which is Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center, in which we've been in business since 2000. And welcome. Before we get into the depth of the tutorial itself, the super tutorial, I wanted to make sure that you see that we are having a resurrection of our consultation process that we're actually offering for free. It's a $300 value. Yes, it is a $300 value, and we're not asking anything, no obligation. You can read it on the slide what we're all about, and this is for people what we actually call the hot seat, who are really have gone through many different types of modes of healing or asking questions or going to see different people, and they haven't experienced Chinese herbal medicine, or we're actually getting people who've the only thing that actually has worked for them is Chinese herbal medicine and seeing a true herbalist, and then they can't find a new one and they're looking for answers again or getting back on track with formulas. And so this is a really great place to start. And we do this long distance. It doesn't hurt. It's easy. We send you a link so you can go to our opt-in page. Very simple. You can read about it, and then you can go to the directly to fill out the form. And it's just a narrative. You send us a couple pictures, and then answer some other questions by looking at some categories and choosing which of the top 3 categories best fits your needs. So honestly, this is a super great deal. There's no obligation. There's none. We're not asking for any credit card, just nothing. We're actually honest, true, caring, honorable people who care about helping you, or actually your dog too. We do a lot of dog consultations, and we have a line of dog formulas that have just been absolute amazing miracle working formulas for dogs who do extremely well on the formulas. And if you actually look at one of our other tutorials, it's on hip dysplasia with dogs. And so, but this one is this tutorial is going to be about just an overall view of Chinese herbal medicine. So you'll learn a lot. And if you finish it and you contact me, I'll send you an actual certificate that you finished through this. Okay, just kidding. So there is, as I have written here, an enormous amount of information on this in all of our videos. Our last few videos, I think, lasted like close to an hour and could have gone way longer. We're going to have one on severe skin conditions, and I'm guaranteeing that's going to probably go about an hour and a half. And so this is really a true in-depth super tutorial lecture on Chinese herbal medicine. It's very pointed at the herbal side of it, but it does, as with this video and slideshow, cover overall Chinese medicine theory. Now you got to understand, this is the way we see things. So different herbalists and different acupuncturists and people involved in Oriental medicine, Chinese medicine, is going to see things maybe a little bit different. They're going to prescribe different formulas or have different points of view. Some people might, have you work out 5 hours a day. Other people will say don't work out at all and let your chi build for 6 months. So everybody's different, and when something works, that's who you stay with and that's who you trust, and it all works out. So it isn't just a one kind of color fits, paints the whole paints the whole house. We're using different colors, but we have our own view on how we see things, and this is our foundational view on Chinese medicine, but it's pretty close to how I think most people would see it. By the way, it's been about a month since we've done another video, and we've been super busy, which is a good thing, but we're really excited to put these out. We're going to continue to put out many, it's going to be endless. Once we've started this channel, which we wanted to start a very, very long time ago, we just haven't been able to, but we're really excited to get this thing going, and we don't want to just put out anything and just put something quickly out there that doesn't make sense or is confusing. And so this video, what is Chinese medicine, as it says here, is to truly unveil the knowledge and to get you really not to be able to, maybe as far as you want to go with it, maybe start a career in Chinese herbal medicine, which sounds maybe kind of crazy, but it's not crazy to me or my wife or my dog, but it's something that you can use as a foundation and go over and over. And I really want you to go over these videos many times, and and I did say this already, but please subscribe and hit the notification so you get all our videos, and comment and ask us questions, and stay engaged with us. But this is a video that'll really, maybe if you've never really seen everything laid out, like taking something apart and laying it out on a table, you'll be able to look at it and go, okay, this all is starting to make much more sense to me, and I love it, and this is where I want to put my money towards health and my understanding of health towards my family and my body and why things do what they do. So looking at this page right here, we do use something that most people think is for acupuncture, but we use exclusively, which is the 5 internal organ systems and how they interact. We also, of course, look at the 4 treasures, which is yin, yang, qi, and blood levels. And that's another very important way to begin, I'll just say, to begin to understand. If you think you're going to understand this all in one shot, it just doesn't make any sense. It takes a long time to really switch your mind into a different mode and to begin to understand what this is and what we're showing you and what it's all about. So it's like never playing an instrument and suddenly you have to read little dots on a piece of paper and go, oh, that's music. Yeah. And so to move one thing into another, translate. So I'll read this last line here. It's important to note that Chinese medicine defines the process of disease in an extremely different fashion than you may be most likely accustomed to. That is very true. As I was saying in the last slide, that it will become more clear as you spend more time, just like anything else, like playing an instrument, learning for the first time, reading music. It'll make sense, and it'll be a new language, and that's what we're really looking for with what we're doing, is for people to come to us. And we have people come to us to say, I think I'm yin deficient. I'm like, it's music to my ear. So but that's just one side of it. It isn't really about you to learn if you want to. I mean, we encourage knowledge. Knowledge is power, but it's also power in the way that you can trust why somebody's helping you and what they're doing, instead of feeling like you're out in the cold. And this happens a lot with health, where things are and I have your convoluted, confusing, complex, all these C words, and then an answer is sometimes you're told it's just not there. Nobody knows. It's unavailable. And so we actually, in many ways, and I'll kind of be bold in saying this, don't believe anything's unavailable. That if you understand the pathways back into the 5 organ systems that I alluded to earlier, you can gain at least somewhat, let's say, somewhat of an understanding or a high understanding of what's going on and how to accomplish working in assisting your body in making the positive changes, so you start seeing relief and a movement in the right direction. So this is very, very important to understand. And it really has brought a lot of people over to the Chinese medicine point of view who will never go back. And so that's what we're doing here. We're biased, and this is thousands and thousands of years of knowledge. And think about thousands and thousands of years of knowledge of the body. This isn't ancient, weird, closed door stuff. This is amazing scientific fact on how things work and how to accomplish your goal in bringing your body to powerful health and longevity and robustness, and that's our goal. And so that's what we want you to have. But really the best way to get there is to become clearer, as I have here, in the understanding of what Chinese medicine is. And that's what all our series is about, that, but this one specifically, this video. So how is your body viewed by Chinese medicine? And I don't know if this is a real word, but I made it up, but it's in an interconnective way. So everything is its connection to itself. So if you understand a certain emotional state, you'll understand a physiological state, and which leads to, and I have mental functions. They're all connected as one. It isn't separate ideas, separate ways to treat each one. They all can be multitasked at the same time, which can be very complex, and that's what we're doing the consults, which isn't really for you to be able to do. Maybe you can. Maybe this is very intuitive and you go, I can do this. I can figure out the formulas, and that's great. We want you to. But if you can't, again, you need to go to somebody like us or someone who really knows the depth of Chinese herbal medicine or Chinese medicine itself, and start understanding and ask them, some questions. Some people want you they think that you're going to teach them Chinese medicine because you're going to see them. And that's ridiculous. You need to go to school for that. You need to study. You need to study for 20, 30 years. You need to get deeply involved and absorb yourself in it. But that aside, just understanding these certain principles that are in this video is going to give you a big boost and directional impulse towards the right way of feeling about of what's wrong or what's right and how to get there. So one of the biggest things of all to understand is that treating something separate on its own idea, like a problem with your lower back, is only your lower back, is not. This is huge. This is really hard to. It's so simple, but sometimes it's hard to get this across, that it's not just your lower back that's having a problem. There are other, if there's a problem with your lower back, there's going to be other problems, health problems, that are connected to the lower back pain. And so, for instance, if that's the lower back is the kidney area, you may have other kidney, organ system, health issues that are connected with that. Maybe bad teeth, maybe insomnia. It's like, what the heck does that have to do with that? Maybe sometimes you find yourself very fearful, and you're like, fear? What does that have to do with my back being hurt? And it's connected, and we're going to get into that in a little bit here. So the key here is that everything is interconnected, and once you understand those interconnections, you can move forward and understand how these formulas work on a multi-level. And I'm talking about formulas, the Chinese herbal formulas, combinations, and combinations of the formulas themselves too, like 2 or 3 or 4 formulas working together as a team. And that's another key idea that a lot of people think. They ask us, is there an herb for this? And no. Is there a formula? Yes. Is there multiple formulas? Yes, you need multiple formulas. You may have digestion problems, kidney problems, and liver, or lung, or a lot of grief, or your immune system. So you can be on multiple formulas. I've been telling a lot of people this real simple thought is, you can if you go to the gym, would you just go to one machine, or do you just take one class and that's it? Which is maybe okay, but I mean, if you're just building your bicep for an hour and then walking out the door, there's other pieces to the puzzle. So you want to work on everything and put everything in it together as a a multi connectional system. If you think our bodies are, they're probably the most complex. I mean, health issues and figuring it out it's hard, and people want answers, and our bodies aren't. I mean, they're crazy. There's so many things, interworkings of the body. So there has to be a way to subdivide them, see where things fall under, and then work within those boundaries. Like with, like I said, the liver or the kidney, or say your digestion. So if you're working with those three, you can gain a lot of ground and go, wow, it's like doing maybe like yoga, and then you're doing some weightlifting, and then you're taking some type of aerobic class. And so you're doing everything, and you're like, man, this is working out great. So that is the key here. So it's just as I was saying, and of course every video kind of follows the last idea. I'm sorry, video, but every screenshot here follows the last idea. This is about how really everything matters, and this is what we call daily disharmony. So let's look at a daily disharmony and look at the definition. But it's just what's happening daily that's kind of out of whack. Like you always have here low energy, or one of your emotions are just overriding all the other ones. You're not evenly balanced, or underneath that I have chronic infections. So you have an infection, it never goes away, or it's reoccurring, or it's hard to heal. And so that is something that is not what we want. We want things to be all working properly, all, you could say, tuned in like a guitar, going back to the music thing. And so, but I guess what I have really here is that nothing is irrelevant. It's like, oh, I've always not had much of an appetite. Well, that means something. That means a lot, okay? Or my eyes have always teared, or they've always been really dry, and that's just who I am. That's just my genetics. Well, maybe, but that's telling us a lot. And even if it's genetics, it doesn't matter. It's not proper. It's not in harmony, daily in harmony. It's a daily disharmony. So when we connect these daily disharmonies together, we can start subgrouping them into the 5 organ systems, and then we can look at different formulas. So that's how all of this works. So everything here is very important, and very kind of easy to look at and say, I don't need a machine. I don't need anything. I just look at a list and go, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, 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 no, and come together to a end result. So this is a big part of Chinese medicine. It's simple. It's simple in that way. And that's what makes it another really wonderful, yet very advanced thinking. I'm not going to stay on this page here too long, and you can, of course, pause it and look at it and go, absorb all this information. But it's a kind of a really good overview in simplicity of what is very complicated, what I say is complex. I use the word complex a lot with Chinese medicine. And so, again, like I was saying, that we use the 5 organ or the 5 element system, or what I'm going to call it the 5 internal organ system, and where they sit. I mean, how strong are they, or how is their function or functionability working? So we can look at it that way, at what degree or at what level. And you can, from there, you have to everything is about an algorithm. Everything in medicine is algorithms. So does it come down to, and really it comes down to many, many times, if you look to the far right, combination of both, which is like, I have too much of this and too little of this, but if I do this, this will take me over this way. If I go right, it'll take me left. I do too much left, it takes me right. So balancing out the formulas and balancing, it could be a huge balancing act to get through a major storm of the body being out of balance, and you want to give it, for instance, a very heavy tonic, but your digestion cannot absorb it. So it's, where do you start? The chicken or the egg? And you'd start with both, and you have to nurture and be very careful as you work your way into just a little bit this way and a little bit that way, or stay off of the tonic for a little bit, or take a tonic maybe once a week, and let that absorb as your digestion becomes stronger and stronger, and you open up meridians, you open up stagnation and blood stagnation and emotional stagnation, and so it can become it's something that this is where it makes Chinese medicine, sure, it's easy sometimes to read this and go, oh, that all makes sense, but putting it into action, that's a different story. Kind of like let's say like a boxer, you use 3 or 4 different punches, but to fight someone else at your level or a higher level, can you get those moves in? Can you get those strikes in? It takes skill. It takes a very specific, lot of training and knowledge how to win or to hold your own, say in the ring. And same here, is it's to understand deficiencies, what you're looking at, or is it an excess or excess and deficiency within your body, and to be able to put those back in order. And can take some skill, and that's why you need to see someone. Maybe not always. Maybe you can just pick different formulas that you really feel fit your needs, and people do that all the time, and they do very, very well. They bring their life to a new level. And but what we do see is that people can bring their selves to a level, but sometimes they don't realize they can go even further. And so there's higher levels of existence and of building your energy and building your blood and building just your life force. And a lot of times people fall short on that, so they kind of stay where they're at and everything's going fine. But again, we'll going to the gym, but maybe someone needs to come by and say, you've always do the same workouts, you look great, but how about trying this more extreme thing, and see if we can get you even into a much more challenging and rewarding place in your workouts and in your body. And that's what we try to do when we do the consults. And this is one way where you start. This is the overall look, is the deficiency or the excess, or really the combination of both, of what's happening with the organ systems within your body, and for you to be able to move forward and get somewhere. This is a quick view of the 5 elements, because we've been talking about it, or really the 5 organ systems. It might be a little bit hard to see, but if you look to the right, the red one is the heart. Usually when I draw this, the heart's on top, but that's okay. The one behind it, or the very top, which is kind of turquoise, if that's how you see it in your computer, is wood. And so those 2 relationships are from one to the other, with you see the little triangle pointing from the wood to the heart, is sometimes it's called the mother and son, or it's the creative. And then if you look at the turquoise one, where it's being pointed down towards the it's kind of brown yellow, that's the spleen. And that's when the liver, if it overrides in its energy, if it has too much energy, it will override in the spleen. So that's what's called the destructive or controlling energy or pathway. And so this is really amazing when you understand this, and how they interact with each other, and how to apply this. And again, a lot of people use this for acupuncture, but we apply this. I don't know if we're different, but I think we are. We apply this to just overall view of the body, and it's phenomenal, and it's really reaped phenomenal rewards for us and the people that come to us. And so it says the 5 elements up here, but maybe I should have said the 5 elements / the 5 organ systems. So we're going to be talking about the 5 organ systems, and this is what we're talking about here. So if you go back a few frames, you'll see where it said deficiency. Then I was talking about that big long talk about the deficiencies, the excess, and combination of both. We really want to look at the deficiencies, because that in the end is where we want to get to, and then work on those. So that's kind of the main part of the meal on the plate. That's the big pieces. And I like this picture, how all these little inner workings of the body are interrelated. At least I think they are. So it's a cool picture, but it kind of helps to really understand that they all touch each other and they all make each other work. So let's move on. I'm going to go through these different deficiencies, which is 4 of them. And really, again, this is about you just kind of stopping the picture here and reading about it and see if it relates to you, and just begin to get an idea of what Qi deficiency is all about. And really, we hear Qi all the time, or Tai Chi, but you can define it or not define, or go crazy. It's don't get too caught up on that. Let's just say chi is energy, more of like your energetic part of your body, of just feeling like up versus down. And if you look, a lot of all these here are about weak or low to no energy, or weak chronic fatigue, or I like the one that says weak voice, timid, slowed speech. You ever talk with someone and they're barely talking, and you're just, what? Can you speak up? And they look pale, and it doesn't matter what color their skin normally is. You could kind of tell that they're kind of ashened. So it could be anybody from any part of the world, but you can see that they're kind of ashen. They have low blood, or very tired, weak, frail body. And so, the other thing I was going to point out here is the pale yellowish color of the skin, which can come through any pigment. You can kind of see it if you're trained to see it, and that has to do with one of the organ systems I have here, the spleen, so you can relate that back to it. So a lot of times the chi deficiency has to do with a weak digestion. And digestion is kind of the main center. I always tell people it's the sun in the middle of the solar system. So digestion is numero uno when it comes to Chinese medicine, because without it, I was talking about earlier, how do you absorb these more powerful, very strong, thick, rejuvenating formulas? You have to have a very, at least a medium level digestion, and a lot of people do not have very good digestion at all. So they're not building chi, they're being backed up with fluids, they're not building blood, they're not building high energy, or they're being, chi deficiency can come from overthinking, being in school, just being fatigued in many ways, stressed out on many levels. So it's going to really have an effect. The other one, the last one here, weak, timid, courage, and intellect. So that's something to think about. You could spend a lot of time on all of these, but that's not what this is about. I mean, these are already long tutorials. So that's why I always say at the beginning, take your time, go back and learn from this, and put these together and see what you think. We see blood deficiency a lot with the last deficiency we were talking about, with the chi deficiency. In fact, we created a formula called blood and chi power. And so why? Because they go together, and they just do. One leads to the other, or the other leads to the back, and it doesn't matter. But we see a lot of people with blood deficiency. It's a pretty big deal. And one of the simpler things here, simple in the sense to understand, is someone with real dry skin or hair. Maybe you have that, or constipation. Could be blood. It's blood deficiency. And an interesting one is after having a bowel movement, then feeling to have to go again. So it's a very interesting one that's kind of odd, but it's blood. Yeah, it has to do with blood. And when we talk about blood in the Chinese terms, it is completely different. I mean, it's the same blood, but it is a wide view, opposed to a trickle of understanding the blood in other methods of medicine. I'll leave it at that. The Chinese view of it it's amazing, and it's wide and deep, and so it's very, very important aspect. They all are, but these first two are, I don't know, maybe we see that more than other, and I don't want to say that, but I said it, so possibly, but definitely see those two all the time, especially blood deficiency. And if you look here again, you can, let me go over an important one for, say, an older person, but in younger people now, is memory loss or palpitations, but the memory. So the strength of your memory in your mind is the strength of your blood. So it's powerful, very, very powerful. And so we want to have take formulas that build our blood. We want our bodies to work on its own, to build its own blood by eating proper food, powerful food, and then breaking it down and building super blood. We'll call it super blood. So the last two deficiencies are yin and yang. Here we're with the yang. Some people say yang, but I think it's yang. It's the proper Chinese sounding of the word. And yang really is, it seems simple, but it's, in a lot of ways it's not. But it's the metabolism of fluids, you could say, is one big part of yang deficiency. Yang deficiency can be in 3 different main fires of your body. A lot of times this is in the lower one, which is within the kidneys or the kidney area, the Ming Men, but it's more important, and forget about that, is even though I brought it up, it's more important to look at the end results. And so if you see a lot of this has to do with kind of being cold or having a slow metabolism, overweight, a lot of times edema, yang deficiency will have a backup of fluids causing problems in your, especially the lower part of your body, or bad circulation, or but see, that's one side of it. Is you can say bad circulation, the fluids are pooling, they're not moving or being utilized properly. So, but the other side of that, the other side of the coin, is that if it's not being, then what is not happening on the good side, what's not being properly made. And so that's the other side of it to think about, is if it's causing these bad issues, then it's also causing not the good issues if you're yang deficient. And lastly, we're looking here at yin deficiency, and we use that term a lot. And this, again, is seen a whole lot with a lot of people. It really encompasses a much longer list than what you're seeing here in front of you. But this is a really good place to just get a great overview of what yin deficiency is all about. And I'll make it in a simple term. It's the fluids within your body that are not properly hydrating. It's so easy to make that such a simple term, but I mean, we'll leave it at that in that term. And just drinking water isn't going to rehydrate. It's, everyone says drink water, but what is your body actually doing with these fluids? I mean, when you drink water, it needs to break it down, hold it, receive it, put it in its right place, and utilize it into other fluids within your body, mucus and vaginal moisture, or your spinal fluid. So there's all these different fluids, saliva, okay? These or the fluid that works within your joints, and synovial fluid. So this is really a critical area when you have yin deficiency. And if you're yin deficient long enough, you really start having a lot of heat. And so think of it as your cooling system. So always try to make this, again, simple, because it can be overwhelming. And one simple way to look at this is with your car. If you have low radiator fluid, your car runs hot. So it's a really great, simplistic way, but very appropriate way to look at what yin deficiency can do. And if you read some of these problems, you can see that would make sense, is that if something's low in one area, then it goes up in the other area, and that's an imbalance. So we get to the imbalancement idea, which is termed all the time with Chinese medicine. Well, I just used the term imbalance at the very end there, and here it is. So I actually didn't even plan it that way, but so this is a way that we can look at imbalancements which are causing interactional problems between the organ systems, and ways that get you there. And so I have here imbalances can occur from many different sources, such as emotional stress. It's huge. Emotions are one of the biggest ways to put your organs out of balance. External injuries such as trauma, constitutional, genetics, lifestyle. You can read these. These will put you out of order. One thing I don't have on here, I think, is diet. And boy, that's a big one. So somehow I left it off, but that's okay because I'm saying it. So that's a big deal. And diet I'm talking about. But all of these are. So these are, you can look at these and think about them and see that this is where imbalancements come from. There's probably other ones or other places that can come from, but this is a good place to start, and which will cause what I have up here in red, opportunistic state for a disease state to occur. Yeah, I said state twice there. Opportunistic state for a disease state to occur when things are out of balance. So we want things to be in balance, and what I mean by things, your 5 internal organ systems, your body, and then it's, for the most part, can ward off and protect, and not just ward off and protect, but to actually encourage its own inner strength, to build its own chi, its own blood, to resurrect itself, or to hold itself in a very powerful position. And so that is really our goal when we work with people, or when we don't work with them, because we're in this business, and I quote unquote business, it's more of what we love and what we believe in, is to bring this knowledge forward to people to understand that this is very powerful for a lot of people, very emotional, because to be sick all the time, not feel right, not understand why, it's not a good place to be. And so this is what this is about. And maybe this is a good place for me to ask you to please pass this on to other people. If you like what you're hearing, you like the way that I'm presenting it. Not everybody's going to, but a lot of people will. And we try to make it very palatable. And so if you call us on the phone, this is the way we talk to you. Try to make it very understandable, palatable, so you'll feel good about Chinese medicine and move forward with it. And but help people. We want you to, not just us, we can't do it by ourselves, but to pass this on to other people, to look at these ideas and go, this makes sense. It's just my emotional state is making me sick. It's affecting specific emotions, affects specific organ systems, and I need to work around it, or work through it, or stop, or whatever it is. That gets the heavy duty stuff, but to at least to be aware of it. And they say on G.I. Joe, knowing's half the battle. Chinese medicine and balance continued. In each of your 5 internal organ systems, I've been really good about not reading right off, but I'm going to read this one. Systems, spleen, liver, lung, heart, and kidney organ systems, those are the 5, have a specific tendency towards imbalance. As an example, the liver, we always pick on the liver, the poor liver. Organ system, when in an imbalanced state, can create an excess of heat and congestion, negatively affecting your, a lot of stuff here, digestion, emotions, circulation, motivation, and nerves or nervous system. Let's look at this one, circulation. And we can look at all these. These are powerful, but the circulation. Do you know anybody has cold hands and cold feet all the time, like ice? Like you could put it in a hot cup of water and it would make it cold. That, you could say, being really close on the target, that their liver organ system is a little bogged up. And so you got to be very, very careful in opening that door. That's a tight door with a lot of congestion behind it. You don't want to just blow it open. That's a rookie mistake. You have to be very, very careful in opening up that energy. And a lot of times, I'm going to say almost 100% of the time, if that's what's going on, that person doesn't dream. Yeah, I'm talking about dreaming. And I mean, there's all kinds of areas you can go into with dreaming, over dreaming, nightmares, good dreams. But this one is where, when the liver is we'll just say it's blocked, the liver energy. How about that? The liver energy is blocked, and then you have this really ice cold circulation in your hands and feet. That doesn't mean the rest of your body can't be hot or have infections or acne or rashes or inflammation, which we see all the time because the heat goes other places that's being congested. But the hands and the feet suffer many, many times. And so does the dreaming effect. So maybe you're one of those people. Maybe not. Maybe you know someone. But these are all really powerful clues that if you know, you know, and knowledge is power. If you don't know, you don't have any clue that any of that is connected and where to work on it. And you just think, well, I just have this or that, or this is something out of a book and that's just the way it is. Not true. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it is not true. You can open that energy. Why not? Is every door in your house always closed? No, you can open those doors. Doors are open, doors are closed. So we want to open them, and especially in that area, and have flow. We want the flow of energy. And if you look, it connects to all these other parts of the liver organ system. If one's being affected, there's no doubt that the other, to some degree, is being affected. I hope this comes through correctly. I stopped it by mistake before earlier, so I'm restarting this. But I was saying that I'm talking about chi earlier, and I think this is a great slide to just let you read on your own and see what a little deeper ideas maybe about this. But one of the things that I thought was very important about Qi deficiency is prolapsed organs or fallen organs, and a lot of times you hear it with women, but it's going to be men too, is their organs are dropping. They're not holding up. They're not lifting to be held in its proper place. And so this is a Qi deficiency problem. And so that's something to think about. And I think in the next frame, I'm going to bring up, and I haven't done this much in this tutorial, but one of our formulas. So let's go there. This is a formula that we've created from us, Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center at ChineseHerbsForYou.com. And I see that that's interesting. The URL is wrong on this. So this is an old picture. But we are ChineseHerbsForYou.com. Anyways, and I'll put this in a link down below so you can go there and if you're interested in this formula or contacting us and asking about this formula. But this is a very, very powerful formula made by one of my favorite Chinese doctors. I'm not going to say whose name is. I mean, he's dead, long dead from way back hundreds of years ago. But it's just an amazing formula, and it's something to consider if you're Qi deficient. I almost feel like everybody is, but then again, I see crossover deficiencies all the time. But you may feel like you want this, and I just thought I'd bring at least a formula forward for you to look at. So it's Uplift Central Qi. This comes in the capsule or powder form, and we sell a lot of capsules. People, it's very convenient, and it's just something to just put in front of you. I spoke of the 5 elements model, the 5 organ system. I've been talking about it. And again, I put kind of the cart before the horse, but that's okay. Talk about it now. We're going to maybe look at it in a little more depth. And so and really I feel that's an extraordinary model created to map your body's internal organ processes. Your body is seen as an extension of the world around. It's comprised of the elements present within our natural environment. With each of these 5 elements, there's an associated yin organ, a yang organ, an opening, orifice, don't laugh, a season, a sound, smell, taste, tissue, emotion, and so much more. So it covers kind of everything. If we look at all 5 elements, it covers all of life in many ways. And something has to fall into one of those 5 elements or 5 organ systems. So it's interesting thought. Something has to fall in there. There isn't, that's just junk, nothing, and it doesn't even exist. That makes no sense. Something has to be wrong or right somewhere, and it has to fall into something, some idea. If you had 5 cups, it's going to fall into one of those cups. You're going to fill it. One of them has the fluid that you need to understand. And so that's really what the 5 element model is, and it's kind of incredible. And we associate and make from the 5 element Chinese medicine patterns, which is going into a specific organ system or organ like the liver. And like I talked about earlier before, maybe the liver has too much blocked energy. So you see this all the time. It's kind of really, really common terminology that you'll see on many videos. Just people talk about all the time, but liver like qi congestion or liver qi, stagnation. And so that's what your liver organ system tends towards in a not good way. We want it open, but it tends towards to be closed, or things in life cause it to shut down. So that's really more of a better way to look at it. We don't want it shut down, but there's so many angles that cause it to shut down, and we want to open it, and we want it clear and moving and free and flowing. And so that would be that would be a pattern. It could be a liver blood deficiency pattern, and something that you could see with liver blood deficiency would be scanty menstrual cycle, or weak eyes, okay, or itchy skin, or other things, or heat in the skin, or inflammation. So it's getting into the deeper end, but that's okay. We need to touch upon these things, and this is something that you may remember the rest of your life and go, I have itchy skin. Maybe I need something to do with my blood or my liver or something. Okay, so the slide slipped over there for a second, but we're sticking on it here, and I'm back. So this is a much more in-depth picture of the 5 elements. This is something just fun to look at all the time. Okay, I'm kidding. No, I'm not really. But if you want to understand more, and again, I said before that I usually draw the fire and the heart at the top. So there it is. I like this one a little bit better than the other one, but so what? And it shows the creation. If you look at the arrows on the outside going in a circle, one leads into the other, leads into the other, and then it's very interesting that everyone uses different words. Insults, destroys. So when one energy is overwhelming, it can attack the other or specific other organs. Everything is affected by everything in the end, but there is these different phases and different interrelationships. So you'll get this geometry of life right here. That's if you even start studying into the other deeper parts of the understanding of who we are and what we are, the geometry is a huge part of this, our existence. But we'll keep that put that aside for a second. But this is a good geometrical figure that can tell you how the interreactions and the different organ systems are working within each other. So it's I like this picture a lot. Now my wife Tia and I have spent years and years and years putting together information. So this is all from our little tiny minds and memories and writing things out. And this is something I did a long time ago when we were doing workshops. But I like it because it shows the different names and consolidates all the internal inner system. That's what we call it, an organ system. What's connected to it. It's like, what? And so if you look at the heart, pressured speech, mania, insanity, coma, all this is when the heart's out of balance. And it even has its own name. It's the emperor, and it has its own element, which is fire. And if you go down to the lung, it's the protector. Why is it protector? Because it's a lot of ways your immune system. Now, a lot of people don't realize how much blood runs on the outside, vessels on the outside of your lungs. Your lungs are very, very important, very powerful, with a huge vascular system. You think of just the air, but on the outside of the lungs is blood. And so it has this interrelationship with the heart, your heart and your lungs. If you think, right, heart and lungs go together. They live in the same area, same neighborhood. And so they're just very, very powerful of mixing air and blood together and putting the oxygen into the blood and taking off the bad or used up part of the blood there, where you're taking away the gases that you don't need, and to fill it with the proper gases to move around the body and bring in chi and power. So think if your blood is deficient, remember I talked about that earlier, that you're not able to move other pieces around, pieces of the puzzle. And another piece of the puzzle with blood, don't just think of the red blood cells, but is the plasma carrying your hormones. So, and what if the glands that make the hormones are deficient, they're dry, they're not properly? This is aging. This is a big problem, or non-aging. You could be young, have this problem. And so this is where it gets again into the deep end of thinking of yin deficiency, of fluids, of proper organ functionability, of putting everything in its right place, putting the fluids in the right place, building the fluids to put them in the right place. Every one of your cells has a little tiny bit of fluid inside of it, so the organelles can work properly. You can make the RNA and DNA, and it can talk to each other, and all the other things that happen. So life is deep, it's incredible, it's complex, and we have to see it from an outside inside point of view, but we can see it from the inside outside point of view too. But from the outside, we can look at things that are happening to us and decide those daily disharmonies. So let's say we just look at someone with dry skin and really dry brittle hair and bad memory, and they look very, like I said, blood deficient, pale. So that's just outside. You go, well, my looks aren't very good, whatever. People worry about their looks, but what's happening inside? What things are not occurring or functioning in its proper interrelationship with the other organ systems? Everything working on its proper level to finally get to that outside point of view of the dry hair, or like I said, I was talking about dry eyes too. So dryness, it's a big deal. And if you think about aging, what is aging? You start seeing people kind of dry up. Their skin dries up. That's what a wrinkle is that the fluids are not in its proper place. You're not elastic and look young and vibrant like a baby with their skin, almost not rubbery, but you know what I'm saying, like very pliable. It's the opposite. And same thing with your joints and with your organs, with your fluids, with your teeth, with everything starts drying up. We don't want that. So this really is, I tell a lot of people that Chinese medicine, in my book, is 90% about fluids, 99%, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's about fluids. And so these ideas here will get us to the idea of what's not working correctly, and looking at it a much wider picture, and then be able to harness the right formulas and put things in order. Study this. There'll be a test. Many times I tell people that if you just understood the 7 emotions, you could understand everything that's going on inside. So this is another outside looking in sort of idea. Don't get too stuck on that, but or inside looking out if you're the person having, for instance, fright. Like every little thing makes you jump. You're jumpy all the time, and little sound scares you, or you have not fear but fright. It's more of a reactionary, where fear is a more evenly long-term feeling of not wanting to do things, or to be able to ask somebody something, or to move to a new level. But fright is more of a jumpy type feeling, where you get scared. That's why you watch a movie. A scary movie is for fright more than maybe it's for too. So, but anyways, the fright has to do with the heart. So if somebody has a lot of fright problems, they may be blood deficient. Blood is your almost your power, courage, internal strength. And so the stronger your blood, the more your warrior force, the more you're grounded in a sense. So that's I'm just picking on fright here, but we can look at fright, maybe blood deficiency, and you have to look at a wider picture. But you can look at that too. A real easy one is someone with a lot of anger, anxiety, or depression. Directly look at the liver and see if we can nurture the liver, and it may be blood deficient. So there's other aspects of the other patterns that you need to bring in and understand, and look at the wider picture of daily disharmonies, of a bigger picture of the person, and then come to a conclusion on those daily disharmonies of other aspects that we talked about earlier, of that listing of just things that tell you this person's blood deficient, but they have a lot of anger, anxiety, and depression. Well, now we have 2 patterns kind of going together, 2 different ideas. So this is where we put together the understanding of the organ systems, and it's another aspect that really puts, and I have down here again, interconnectedness of the whole of Chinese medicine. There isn't just, the fright isn't just one thing separate by itself over in the corner. It's all connected to something else, which is connected to other things. Dry skin, fright, and always being tired. Those all go together. You can take the formula. Remember I said earlier, our blood and chi power formula could work for that. That would be a perfect formula for that. So just what I want to say here on the yin and yang is that that it's seen in many times it's incorrectly, like opposites, and think of more complementary. That's really the best way to look at it. Is that, let's say you want to get in the shower. Do you want the water just scorching hot? Do you want it ice cold? Or do you blend the two so you have a proper temperature for you to have a good experience, hygienic experience? And so think of it that way. Everything has a meaning. You need the coldness of the night to build your yin, which is your you could say the mortar between the bricks. You need the day to build your yang, the bricks themselves of life. And so they need to be together. Neither one's going to exist without the other. So it's complementary. That's all I really want to say about yin and yang. You can go on the internet and you go and study it and all that, but that's just something that we wanted to bring up here. Really, to understand the 6 atmospheric states, you need to understand deficiency and excess and the internal atmospheres inside your body, where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be, and when they get out of order, out of whack, how to put them back in order. So for instance, there's formulas that, here I have dryness, so that will bring in moisture. There's formulas where you have too much dampness, or damp, what we call damp heat, which is inflammation or infection, or things building up because they've been sitting too long, and you get a toxic state. And you need to remove that, and you need to remove the fluids, and then you need to strengthen your immune, and then probably strengthen your digestion. And then if you have that toxic state, it's blocking what we essence or substances that we're supposed to be in that area to bring strength and power, which is usually blood. And so blood many times suffers when other substances are in its way. So one atmospheric state will cause specific powerful substances that you need to not move into that area. And so the inside your body has to be in its proper state of being. And this is a really heavy duty part of Chinese medicine and Chinese herbal medicine, putting those atmospheres in their right place, right state of mind. And each organ has its own idea, its own atmosphere, its own feeling, where it wants to be, and what it tends towards when it's out of balance. And so we want to put those things back in order and put these atmospheres in their right state of being. And so this is, for instance, here what I have is with the spleen. There's a lot of people who eat a lot of cold food. So food, it's a really powerful means to change your internal systems and your internal organs. And one of the ones that suffers is the spleen, which is you could say is kind of your digestion or your mid-fire of your body. And it likes to be warm and dry, and it's affected by cold and damp. And literally drinking ice water or having cold food or raw food all the time will affect your spleen energy, and this will lead to spleen qi deficiency, spleen deficiency. You can even, well, anyway, so we'll just kind of stop there. That will block problems of building blood or putting fluids in its proper place, or starting the movement of fluid into its proper place, and it will really lead to many problems. So a lot of people have spleen issues with their spleen, or spleen, let's say it correctly, spleen organ system, just through diet. And if you think about it, cold and damp, it's an atmospheric state. You're outside in the cold and damp. A lot of people catch cold there. A lot of people get sick. Well, ironically, your spleen is one of your big immune, I mean, they all are in the end. We always tell people that, but your digestion actually equals your immune in many ways. So if you have a strong digestion, you usually have a strong immune system. If you have a weak one, or you've dampened it, or you put it in not a very good place, these people get sick a lot, have a lot of colds. Cold, think of that. Why is it called a cold? I'll let you think about that one. Well, it's been a bit of a journey, but we're near the end. And I just wanted to put in this triangle balance that I created many moons ago. But it's kind of a way to look at things in a separate but equal way. And if you look at our external life, it really is based on kind of outside points of view, or things coming from the external relationships. Okay, don't get too caught up on that. I mean, that's internal, but I'm just saying that it's external. It's our life that we kind of live around, not really inside of ourselves, but as we work through life and work with people, and work within our planet and what we're doing. So the work, physical exercise, diet, bills, so you can read all that. And then to balance it out, we feel that, this was old Kung Fu, but Qigong, Tai Chi, just some type of an internal exercise, prayer even, music, yoga, meditation, whatever you feel, I'm not sure, dancing maybe would work for a lot of people. And then, so this is something to balance the external life, to keep it evened out. But that's not enough. We also believe internal medicine. And so, of course, at the top of the list is Chinese herbs, but Qigong healing, acupressure, Tui Na is Chinese massage, Shiatsu is also type massage, acupuncture, but we really put the other ones at the more of something that you can do and do on a daily basis, and really help yourself through internal manipulation and harmonizing and opening up blocked energy and feeling good. You could do acupressure on yourself. There's a lot to that you can study on your own or learn through there's some good stuff out there. It's the information age. So, but I put this because I wanted to show that 2/3 of the triangle of balance has to do with things that a lot of people don't even really put much time into. But we do with our external life. I just use that external. Again, don't get too caught up on it. But it is sort of life in general. So I just want to put this up here just as kind of a prompt. So we're just about finished up here. But it is our mission at Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center and ChineseHerbsForYou.com to create a new scientifically advanced language that makes clear sense when applied to the real world, real life health issues and strategies. In fact, there are no surnames attached to a disease. The Chinese medicine pattern imbalances, which I mentioned earlier, and Chinese herbal formula therapy strategies gives you the answer in their titles. Is that not crazy? To the ultimate question. That question being what is wrong and what is the appropriate answer. So for instance, if you're kidney yin deficient, you take a kidney yin formula. Crazy. That is just, is it? No. It's brilliant. It's direct and straight and to the point. And how great is that? Just wanted to bring this up again in case anybody's interested, and you can read about it, and we'll send you, get a hold of us any way possible, carrier pigeon, doesn't matter, and we'll send you the link to the opt-in page. You'll give us your email address, which you're probably going to give it to us anyways in the very beginning, but you use that to get in to to opt in, to say yes, I want it. You put in your email, and that'll be sent to us, I guess, a second time if you email us for the first time. And then you will fill out some information, and nobody ever sees it, just myself or my wife. That's it. It goes into the secret vault. No one will ever touch it. And we'll even delete it if you want, but we'll give you some answers, a lot of answers. We'll call you. We're very personal in what we do, and you can just decide on what you want. You can ask us questions. It isn't just a one-shot deal. This could be as long-term as you want it to be, and we've been doing this for a very, very long time. We've kind of invented the long-distance consultation, so it's really worked well. I've been doing it for almost 20 years now that we've been in business, and it's just worked incredible. So, and we work with dogs. We have creams that we create. They're called tea creams that nobody else has ever created, because it's made in a completely different fashion, where it's actually a formula that's put into the cream. It's kind of like a tea pill, but it's our version of a tea pill, but it's in cream form. And we have a few different ones. Two main ones is to either remove heat, and it can be used for burns, infections, acne, even to cool your liver, to cool your head, for any type of inflammation. And then the second one is for building, which is a blood and yin and yang tonic. That's very, very powerful. It's called Radiant Youth Anti-Aging Formula. And we sell a whole lot of that. And that's just something amazing that you put on your skin, and it absorbs it. But the idea with these formulas is for your skin to absorb the herbs into your bloodstream. So it isn't just for your skin. That isn't what this is about, but it works well for that, but it's well beyond that. So that's something. But we have a line of dog powders also that just dogs do so amazingly well. It's incredible, and it's costly to go to, whoever you're going to go see and spend hundreds and thousands of dollars. And come to us, and come to us before your dog is in bad shape, or if it has any type of heat issues or any type of issue, health issues, and put them on a formula. There's formulas that they can take the rest of their life. It's just a little pinch. You can even just do it once a week. Just get the herbs in them and just throw it on their food. It's like a little tiny bit. They don't even know what's there, and dogs will eat it anyways. And so look, we can send you information on that, or you could go to our website and look for it. But these are things we've created ourselves to really push forward and elevate the knowledge and power of your own self-awareness and self-building of your own health through herbal medicine and through knowledge. And we're going to keep putting out these videos. Please get a hold of us and give us a comment. It'd be nice to hear. We haven't had one comment yet, and these are really powerful videos that we put out, so we're really surprised. We have very few subscribers, and honestly the world needs to know about this, not because of me or my ego or our business, but just the knowledge. It's just knowledge to be shared, and this is really important stuff. So hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm almost done, and we're almost done, so thank you so much. This is the end of our super tutorial, and this on Chinese Medicine Foundational Introduction. My name is David Akrish, and my wife's Tia Akrish. We are the owners of Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center since 2000. It was our business, but our knowledge and base has gone way well before that. And so, but we started our business in the year 2000, and that's our website, and you can get a hold of us anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you. Take care. Have a great day.